Hello, happy Thursday. I hope this is going to work because I'm outside and I'm on cellular network. I thought I'd take a bit of a risk on a Thursday. If it drops, I don't know quite what connection to try next, but giving it a shot. Don't see why not. Sounds like a jolly good idea. Right, so it's been beautiful weather. We have had such a good week, if you like slightly warmish weather, but it has been great. We've managed to get lots of things done outside. Janine is playing with the muck again. She enjoys that sort of thing. She's got both the truck, the trailer and the tractor involved, so sounds like she's having an absolutely splendid time. What she's going to do is she's going to take back some of the parking pit, and she's going to put some of the composted manure that we have created over the years, layer it down on top of the hard packed stone dust, and then sow grass on it, because I think Janine just has a bit of a thing about sowing grass, and she's hoping to create a bit more grazing space for the equines, which would be just lovely. So that's very exciting. I'm not sure if there was a job today because I wasn't down there this morning, so there may have been, there may not have been. And I know there's definitely not a job tomorrow because tomorrow is a really exciting day and it is vaccination day. So all of my dogs are being vaccinated. Then we're moving down the hill and all of the barn animals are going to be vaccinated. And then after Goldie's has been done, I'm going to take a wander over to Meredith, and everything is going to be vaccinated over there. So it is going to be a very busy day, and one that really isn't enjoyed by the animals, I must admit. So it's quite something. So I have on here, there will obviously be Janine, and I'm not sure who else will be here. I'm hoping Nick will help me with the dogs. We try and get this done really very quickly, so we try to be organised, everybody ready to go. We present them to Dr. Parrott, he vaccinates them, gives them back, and we swap in for another animal. So Nick will help me with the dogs up at the house, I'm hoping. And then I think Janine and I will go down to the barn. And then we will, I'll wander off and I'll go and do Meredith. And we have to do Meredith last because we have quarantine currently on Meredith. So those two animals will be the last ones that are actually vaccinated. So it's going to be all go. And it is going to be another beautiful day because I do check the weather, because there's nothing worse than handling animals that are really not overly excited about having themselves prodded with a needle in the rain. So it looks like it's going to be another good day tomorrow, which will be super. And what else is happening? I did try and see if Carleen wanted to come to MailChat, because I finished all my chores on the other farm and I'm back now, and I thought maybe Carleen and I could sit in the golf cart and do MailChat, but Justin was cooking her burger on the barbecue. And I said, how long is that burger going to take? And he said, about 10 minutes. I said, so there's no time to grab Carleen for MailChat? And he said, no. And he said, and also she's hangry. He said, so don't bother. I was like, okay. So I just wandered up the hill on my lonesome. Seriously, it's very difficult when you've got nobody to hang out with. So that's the state of affairs with Carleen. So she's quite happy. I think she's going to be having something very tasty. It looked like cheeseburger on the grill, so that sounded quite delicious. And what else is happening? I think maybe Betsy and Michelle went out riding today on the two horses, so that's good. That gets them out and about. And I have been trying to tidy. It's really not in my genes, to be honest with you. It's something that I find desperately awful, and any excuse to find something else to go and do, I do it. I'd rather be fiddling around in a barn in a muck heap than tidying. It's a terrible affliction, I can tell you. It's really awful. But I've decided that I think the way forward in life is to simplify things. At which point that means I need to clear out the basement, clear out all the storage that I've never used, clear out the clothes that I'm hoping that I might just use at some point but never will. Because let's face it, I live in barn clothes. And in fact, I have a terrible, terrible time if I have to go somewhere that is not barn clothes suitable, because it's the footwear, because your feet, the soles of your shoes and your boots always absorb the barn smells. It's a terrible thing. So it's quite a struggle. So I'm going to try and adapt what I have and get things organised, and then my life will become easy breezy, allegedly. And I'm going to stop reading posts on Facebook about easy breezy lives, because you're so organised and you're not cluttered. But I'm cluttered at the moment, so I'm going to try and get that sorted. What else have we been doing? So that's really what we're doing. We're trying to work outside the house as well, get the chickens moved. I'm hoping the chickens will go into the same barn, the Deagle house, that the goats are in, and that means that they can be out with the goats during the day. The fox is absolutely rampant at the moment, and my chickens are not going out until mid-morning, because the fox is strolling up and down the driveway. So I'm trying everything I can possibly do to keep my chickens in the best of health and alive. So so we're going to strip out the Deagle house and convert half of it for, well, in fact, it's not half of it. The goats have sort of like 2/3 of it, so the chickens will have 1/3 of it, and that means that they can go out. And who knows, maybe the goats would protect the chickens from the fox. Either that, they'd offer them up as a sacrifice. I'm not sure which it would be. So that's another project that I've got on the go. And so lots of things to keep us busy, honestly. And I'm teaching Sophie to drive. Doesn't she love it? Oh, she's very good with Nick. But I'm a bit more reading the road and predicting things. And so it's maybe a clash of personalities. So I think she prefers driving with Nick, shall we say. Right, let me have a looky-see at these questions, if there are any questions. Well, we actually have some mature compost as well as over the winter poop, but the mature compost is really, I mean, it's garden soil now, so it's wonderful. Vaccination day. There's no yay vaccination day, I can tell you. It's run for the hills, it's vaccination day. Ted and Enzo are still on Meredith. I own Enzo, he's mine, and my horse Boone is also on Meredith. And Ted is there, and he is at the moment owned by Kate, so we'll have to wait and see just what happens with Ted. Yeah. Yes, you probably will be able to watch the vet for some part. It'll either be in the arena or in the courtyard. So one of those two cameras, I would think. Depends on where he decides to set up. Oh, thank you, Hilda. That's very kind. Do I ride my horse sometimes? No, is the answer to that. Yes, I'm supposed to, and I just haven't quite got round to it. So I'm hoping, that's another thing I'm hoping to do this year, is actually get myself back in a saddle. I'm not sure my legs or my hips will quite oblige, but I am hoping to get Boone back in saddle. He has a long time injury on his front leg, and sometimes if he's too overactive, it makes him a touch lame. He's not in any pain, and we just keep him as well rested as possible, and we certainly won't be jumping, we won't be cantering, and definitely not galloping unless it's a total emergency. And so walking and trotting is his speed, that's also my speed. And so that's why I took him on, because I don't really want anything high octane any longer. I just don't have the capabilities, to be honest with you. So at the moment, he is a total and utter pasture ornament, which he quite likes because he's super social and he does enjoy everybody coming to admire him. But I'm going to have to get myself in gear. He's going to have to get himself back in gear, and then we'll take it from there. I am hoping to get Enzo out. I do walk with Enzo. We used to do 3.5 miles 5 times a week. So I'd started working with him and also actually with Rocco about a month and a half ago. So I've got Enzo back into the stage where I can go into the barn with a halter, and I put the nose piece of the halter out towards him, and he now comes and self-loads himself into the halter. I haven't done it for a week, and I can bet my bottom dollar that little stinker won't do it. But I'm hoping he's going to oblige for tomorrow, because he's a monkey. He actually really needs a job, because otherwise he's only 5. And otherwise, he likes to have his 1 mule rodeo in the paddock, and he's just a piece of nonsense, to be quite honest with you. So I halter him up and I take him out on a big long walk, and he thoroughly likes it. He likes to strut his stuff, and he also appreciates the fact that everybody thinks that he's a very handsome little pony, and he obviously himself thinks he's a total stallion. So we wander around the roads annoying people. We go down to the co-op, and my aim in life is to get him with a pack saddle on and a bag of grain in his back, so he can actually do something for a change instead of being a pest. But we'll get there. So I have had him out and about, and I do enjoy that. So lots to do. I'm still looking at these questions. Yeah, I'm still at the mess. In fact, I think actually, Carol, what happens with me is it's not a case of I make more mess. It's a case of I can't get started because there's so much mess. I find it quite distressing. So Dimitri normally hangs out with Arthur, and those two are. In fact, I saw them yesterday down over the fence, and it was Dimitri and Arthur that were hanging about like a couple of naughty boys, because they are. But sometimes it's really funny, because sometimes they kind of like drift apart and then they come back again. It's really weird, because those two are very friendly, and then sometimes Charlie's in the mix, and Woody's a bit of a single Pringle. It's peculiar. I don't know whether or not they have little arguments and fall out for a day or two. The pair that you always see together are Delight and Flower. They're hysterical. They just make me giggle. I love them. Sophia's not learning stick shift. I have suggested that, but she was rather unimpressed. We actually, with our son, we taught him stick shift, because I do think it teaches you to listen to the engine, because when you're changing gears, the engine very definitely, by how much it's labouring, it does tell you that you either need to go up a gear, down a gear, or so it gives you more of an understanding, I think, of how taxed the car is. But no, she's on an automatic. So the vet should be here sometime round about 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock. But what we also has to remember is that if he has an emergency, that quite rightly bumps us back a bit. So I'm not 100% sure. Yes, Carlene's door was fixed. I think it's been fixed for a while, which is good, because the animals were just going for a wander. That tree behind me has been bending over ever since I've been in this house, so it's not getting any bendier, and it's still upright-ish. So, and it's bending towards the hill, so I don't think it will come towards the house, which is always a worry. I learned stick, and I thought it was the only thing that you could really learn when I was learning. So Of course I learned it. I do think it's a good skill to have, though. I think it's just a different type of driving. I remember when we bought a Subaru for my son as his first car, and it was a stick shift because he'd wanted a stick shift. And when we went to pick it up, I thought he would maybe drive home, and he said to me, actually, I would rather if you would drive home. I thought, I haven't driven stick shift in years, so I had to drive home. And it's very funny because you forget about if you don't get your correct biting point, you can actually stall your car. And it's not the fact that you stall your car, it's the fact that so many people nowadays have no idea how a stick shift operates. So if you stall your car, people will just think you've stopped and you just need to press the accelerator. Instead, you have to take that extra couple of steps of, putting it into neutral, restarting the engine, getting the gear and getting your biting point and taking off again. So, yeah. I think that's the sort of thing that you forget about. Whereas I know when I was learning to drive, if you stalled the car, everybody would be like, "Oh, learner driver." And also in the UK, you have this phenomenal white square with a big red L on it that signifies that you're a learner driver. And then I think now what they do is once you've passed your test, I think for the first number of months, maybe it's even a year, they put a white square with a green coloured P on it to say that you're a new driver, you've just passed your test. So I think that gives people a degree of tolerance and understanding if you're not quite moving at the speed. I've been out driving in Linebrook Road with Sophie, and we've had people try to overtake us on the bends. They drive up behind her, they flash their lights, they're so aggressive, and she's driving at the speed limit with the correct road placement. And she says, "What do I do?" And I said, "Well, unfortunately, you can't pull over to let these people go because there's no pulling overside there's no space at the side. It drops down. So we're just keeping going, and it's quite something." So I'm just looking at these questions again. I think I'm all caught up. Look at that. That's amazing. So if you've got any questions, ask them quickly. That's one of my 7 roosters calling. I seem to have inherited roosters from somewhere. I'm thinking somebody's wandering up a small part of the drive and popping them over my fence, because I've never seen these birds before. They appeared at winter time. It was quite something. Oh. Here's a question. I had something there about somebody's grandson. The questions disappeared. Somebody's grandson, I think it was Susan's grandson in Wisconsin, was learning to drive. Oh, I remember Escape to the Country. That was a lovely program. Yeah. So anyway, we're all good. We're all just getting there. And I've lost that question about somebody else's grandson learning to drive. But I tell you, it's not a pleasant experience now. Very little tolerance for these poor kids. Anyway, I'm going to go make dinner because that's another chore I think I'm supposed to do for people and not for animals, which is, it's not quite the same thing, because when you make dinner for animals, they're so appreciative and they love it. Whereas sometimes when you make for people, they sometimes look at it and go, "What's this supposed to be? Oh, I don't like that. I'll make my own dinner." You're like, really? Honestly, it's a real tricky one. Ava is not at home at the moment. She's actually in Boxford, so she's very close by, which is lovely. But I think she's going up to Vermont. I can watch it at YouTube. Yes, there used to be this service with the BBC, and I do like the BBC, and it was called the BBC iPlayer, and it was wonderful because it was like a watch again service. So anything that had been on either BBC One, 2, 3, 4, and all the music channels, etc. You could watch it again at your leisure, so you could get all the there's a murder series called Shetland, and you could watch that, and then series 1 or season 1, season 2, that sort of thing. The problem is you can't get it if you're in the United States. And I used to use the iPlayer all the time, and it's a service that they won't. And I think it's probably because we pay a television tax. So the BBC is actually funded by what is it you call it? It's a television tax. Yeah, something like that. So you don't have it. You don't get it over here. So it's horrible. So I very much miss that. But not much we can do about that, I'm afraid. And anyway, I don't watch television, so I don't know why I'm complaining. So, good night, everyone, and have a lovely weekend. And I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining me.